got some good news for you. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored. Here today with episode 560, and we'll be talking about the hidden poisons that have an impact on our body every day, the toxins that we come in contact with. And this is important for our wellness warriors because we have to be strong in the days that are ahead. I sense a change in everything that's in our world. I sense a change in our living and in our spirit world also. And we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared for it. And I've been preparing you with some information that probably you don't like, with facts regarding life expectancy, where the United States is consistently lagging behind other developed countries. And we spend the most. The United States spends more per capita on healthcare than any other country in the world. Somewhere around $11,000 to $12,000 per head, where other countries are spending anywhere between $6,000 and $7,000. So why aren't we consistently achieving good health outcomes? Well, we've told you some of the things. The number one cause of death is prescription drugs. The number three is doctors and malpractice, doctors' mistakes. So in this world where medical error is one of the leading causes of death, don't you think it's about time you start doing your own research and becoming a wellness warrior and taking charge of your own well-being and maybe embracing a different type of health care where it is holistic and involves spirit and happiness? And recognize that wellness extends beyond mere physical fitness, and it encompasses mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects as well. So we want to be proactive in those areas. But as Socrates has said, paraphrasing what he said, of course, because I don't remember the exact quote, but I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make you think. So let's try and make you think today. And what started me on this topic is something I read yesterday. In fact, I didn't know that I was going to talk about this until I saw this yesterday. Propylene glycol. Sound familiar? It's made from petroleum. It's used in skincare products, cosmetics, moisturizers, serums, and cleansers. Propylene glycol, you ready for this? It's an ingredient in antifreeze. It helps these cosmetic products to penetrate deeper into your body. That also means that anything else on your body is going to go into it with the cosmetics. Because your skin is what? The largest organ of your body. So do you want common cosmetic chemicals pushed deeply into your skin and body? No, because we've talked that the research is showing that a lot of these are linked to cancer and thyroid issues and liver damage and more. You'll find propylene glycol in moisturizers, face cleansers, face masks. We talked about sunscreens last week. We'll have a little bit more to say about them today. Because certain sunscreens, those with a creamy or lotion-like consistency, may contain propylene glycol as a moisturizing ingredient. Propylene glycol can be found in anti-aging products and anti-aging creams and serums and treatments. Can be found in shaving creams and gels. It's put in there to provide lubrication and moisturization. And body lotions, where it is commonly used to soften and hydrate your skin. Now, is it definitely proven that it is associated with everything I talked about? No. But there is a strong suggestion, so why take a chance? We do realize that there's a lot of cancer and thyroid disease, and not a lot of it is genetic. So do you want to take a chance? And in itself, it can cause skin irritation, eye irritation, and problems with respiratory breathing and allergic reactions. So it is not an inert chemical. I've even discovered that propylene glycol is used as a food additive and a preservative, primarily as a solvent for food colors, flavors. It's also in pharmaceutical products. It can be found in baked goods. Jeez, I mean, it's going to be hard to avoid this, huh? This chemical, which is a component in antifreeze and de-icing solutions. Wow. So that's just part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen, that, we don't know all the toxins. We know there's 80-some thousand in the United States, but we don't know where we find them. But we're going to give you a list in a bit. Let me just go back to what we were talking about last week and the dark side of avoiding the sun. And we were talking about sunscreens. Well, I came across an article that came out of a book called Sunscreens, Biohazard, Treat as Hazardous Waste. I guess not a lot of people have read it. In fact, I hadn't read it. This widespread use of sunscreens has resulted not only in increased skin cancers, but in contamination of the world's water sources. We talked a little bit about that last week. So there's a book out called Biohazard 2, Proof of Toxicity Keeps Piling Up. Sunscreens, Biohazard 2, Proof of Toxicity Keeps Piling Up. So to summarize that, research has not validated the claim that the sun is not safe. Sunscreen use actually promotes skin cancers. Sunscreen chemicals are toxic to all systems of the body and to life on the planet. Remember, your skin is the largest organ, and as it heats up, the pores get bigger and the substances can penetrate deeper. And we talked about sunscreens being endocrine disruptors. They mimic the shape of our hormones, disrupting estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and thyroid. How does that compare to just getting out in the sun? The sun provides benefits for your whole body. And if you block the UVB radiation, you get low vitamin D3 levels, which we know are really important for our immunity. We should, as we know, we should take more time and eat better. Taking or using antioxidants on the skin are a more natural way. Sunscreens were introduced in the 70s. In the United States in 1970, the incident rate for melanoma was 5.7 per 100,000. Between 1973 and 2011, the overall rate increased 200%. Wow. So do sunscreens actually work? You would think if they work, we would be going in the opposite direction, wouldn't you? Maybe it is true, like Professor Peskin said, skin cancer is an inside job. We're doing something wrong with our diet and supplements that not only not prevent it, but enhance skin cancers. So you can do some research on this. Let me know. DocRonRadio@gmail.com. But the incidence of melanoma is continuing to rise. This book has studies published in the 1990s that admit that sunshine had not been proven to cause melanoma or skin cancers. In 1994, research reported that sunscreens failed to protect against UV radiation-induced increase in melanoma incidence. They are effective in preventing sunburns. However, their protective effect against melanoma skin cancer was determined to be less conclusive. All right, enough about that. Just again for your knowledge, that sunscreens are not everything that they are advertised to be. And this endocrine disrupting part is really serious. Especially now that we're using them in kid-safe formulas where it could, cause young kids to have too much estrogen. So think about using zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Really? Well, let me tell you. Both of them have been studied to be extremely toxic in their own way, especially the titanium dioxide. So, wear clothing, huh? And stay away from nanoparticles put on your skin because they get in a lot faster. So, boy, I probably could do a year on this. Let's go through some toxins. They're poisonous. They're poisonous. They are found in food. And they end up in our body, the food toxins. And these toxins are dangerous, right? They are capable of causing us harm, either through a contact in a lotion or a cream or a spray on our skin. absorbing them through our food, absorbing them from the air, from the water we drink. So, contrary to the past, when our food and air and water were considered relatively safe, it's not true anymore. One generation has really dramatically changed that. So we have a frightening list of toxins, I'm sorry to say. We don't talk much about it, but auto exhaust. It's a toxin. It has benzene in it, carbon monoxide, and formaldehyde. Mercury is still in our environment. It's a poison. It is what poisoned the Mad Hatter. It's bad for our nervous system and fish. Some vaccines, pesticides, coal plants, trash incinerators, cadmium batteries, lead paint still around. The aluminum. You find that in antiperspirants, some cookware, antacids, skin creams, and dandruff shampoo. Look for aluminum, a neurotoxin. Now, there are certain toxins called excitotoxins. They overstimulate your brain, like drinking too much coffee or taking Adderall. Aspartame, saccharin, food additives, MSG are excitotoxins. Pesticides and herbicides, what we've talked about. The effect of Roundup, glycosamine, a toxin. And these are still around: formaldehyde, chlorine, chloroform. Do you realize that acetaminophen, a non-aspirin pain reliever, is in the list of toxins because it decreases the protective antioxidant called glutathione? And how many of our household cleaners have acetone, and benzene in them? Our microwave ovens, our ultraviolet radiation, electromagnetic fields, which I have been preaching for years, that turn off that Wi-Fi router at night. Do not put your cell phone up to your ear. Use speaker mode. Turn it off when you're not using it. And how many people are still using electric blankets and not using blue light blocking sunglasses at night while watching the TV or their screens? It's not going to help for me to keep going on and on, but you're getting the idea. It scares the heck out of you. And we'll just take a little rabbit trail here. We will be recording a podcast next week, which will air probably 2 weeks from now, with Dr. Wong and Mika Portney about detoxification using zeolite and other products. You might want to look out for that. It'll be probably called Zymescence and Zeolite in the title. Definitely zeolite will be in the title. But you're going to have to do some homework and check out the products in your home. You're going to have to find out what chemicals are in the food you're buying. And you really have to get serious about getting a good water filter to remove the impurities. But don't fall into the trap of drinking distilled water, which is just naked water, has nothing in it, and actually would cause osteoporosis. So stay away from distilled water for drinking. But reverse osmosis and carbon filters, that's fine. Be a little bit compulsive about changing your air filters in your air handlers. so that anything they trap doesn't get recirculated into your home or apartment. And please do avoid the diet sweeteners. DIE is in diet for a reason. Avoid aspartame, saccharin, Splendid, NutraSweet, all artificial sweeteners. They are excitotoxins and affect your brain chemistry. Why would you want that? And over the past months, we've been talking about processed and ultra-processed foods, something you want to avoid. The prepackaged snack foods, avoid them. Avoid MSG. Buy organic if you can afford it. It's mind-boggling, what you have to do to lead a somewhat clean life. And gosh, all this stuff is in laundry detergents and fabric whiteners. The fabric whiteners really don't whiten. They just put a chemical on the fabric that makes it look brighter. And we've talked about that. But we can limit our cell phone use. We can keep it away from our body. We can use speaker mode. We can put it on airplane mode when not in use. And, we don't know about the BPA in plastics. I mean, and just be careful when you get a vaccination, especially your children, that they get vaccinations that do not contain mercury, which is thimerosal. It's used as a preservative. Don't wrap your food in plastic, then put it in a microwave oven. I mean, this is frustrating for me too, ladies and gentlemen, that I can't give you a quick list. But the toxins we live in a toxic soup world. But we can keep our body's immune system. We can have a superior interior by keeping our microbiome in our gut strong, right? We can keep our liver strong. We can do a liver cleanse, which we'll talk about in that next podcast with Dr. Wong and Mika Portney. We can keep up our defensive strategy by using antioxidants. So the best defense is going to be an offense. It's going to be an offense by keeping our body strong, by using. I like, and I've told you, there's nothing of remuneration on my part for recommending Megaspore, but it's a spore biotic that has been proven to withstand the acids and enzymes in the stomach and small intestine and still be good. I mean, there's when you brush your teeth, if you use fluoride, it says on the fluoride on the toothpaste that not for if a child eats that toothpaste, it's poison. And there was an article this morning. Maybe before the end of the show, I'll find it, talking about pregnant women having fluoride in their system and affecting their newborn babies. Gosh, that's scary. One thing I found, and again, as I say, this is mind-boggling once you start researching this. They're putting this used tire rubber in playgrounds. Well, particles from the car tires, which are made from toxic chemicals, leach out. They can affect the people playing on them, and then they can get into our waterways. They can get into the air we breathe. You see where you go with this? There is even an article that I don't have in front of me now that talks about, here it is. Children and the poor are most susceptible to exposure to toxins, causing the U.S. billions of dollars. But hear this, 41 million IQ points. That's what a researcher named David Billinger determined that Americans have collectively forfeited as a result of exposure to lead, mercury, and organophosphate pesticides. A lower IQ. So, it affects every organ of our body. And we didn't even start talking about plastic water bottles. And when you start reading about plastic and how it breaks down, and you read about research showing that nanoplastics, which are microscopic particles that are broken down from everyday plastic items, they bind to proteins associated with Parkinson's disease and Lewy, that's Lewy, Lewy body dementia from the plastic water bottles. These polystyrene nanoparticles are also found in plastic cups and utensils. They also bind to alpha-synuclein, a protein linked to Parkinson's disease. They found this out at Duke University, right here in the good old United States of America. So we want to try and watch how much plastic we put into our bodies and stop using those water bottles. Out of Duke University, they said that their study suggested the emergence of micro and nanoplastics in the environment might represent a new toxin challenge with respect to Parkinson's disease. That should get your attention. We already know pesticides are associated with Parkinson's. Now we got nanoplastics. So I think in our upcoming episodes on detoxification, it will be really important because we can't avoid them all. So we have to have a strong, superior interior so we can resist the effects of these toxins. So again, I can only make you think about it. I cannot give you all the answers, sorry to say, but just make you aware of what you put on your skin and the water you drink, the air you breathe, and how you use your cell phones. And nobody talks about them because they're so convenient. But they are part, in my opinion, of the New World Order, how they're going to track us and maybe even send us signals. Really a different world out there than most of us were brought up in. And we have to even think about the transhumanists who want to change what God has created. Well, they want to try. They tried it in Babel, and it didn't work out too good. And just sorry to say, my own profession, where doctors have been paid to give vaccines, but pediatricians are paid to give vaccines. Some of our churches were paid to use their parking lots to inject vaccines. And are we any better for all of this? Are we any better for all the drugs we take? Something to think about. And when I say the tide is changing, I mean just recently the ex-CDC director, Robert Redfield, the CDC is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. He said many officials who tried to warn the public about the potential problems with the Chinese virus vaccine were pressured into silence, and that it's high time to admit that there were significant side effects that made people sick. So the tide is changing. The mass psychosis is changing. People are starting to think for themselves. People are not going to be locked down again. They are not going to be masked. They're not going to let their children lose IQs and lose time from school. Okay, so I don't get any more trouble. Let me end it there. This has been Dr. Ron, host of Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored. Try to open your eyes, and hopefully you can handle the truth.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Well, I hope we can handle the truth, ladies and gentlemen, because it's important if we're going to survive, and especially those of us that are elderly. We want to leave this world in a better spot than we found it for our children and grandchildren. So on that, we're going to go home, and we will talk to you next week. And of course, it's not working, but we'll see. I usually have Freddie play the closing number, but he's not ready to do that. And why, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to close it myself. And we're available on Rumble and BitChute if you're interested. Also, LinkedIn and our YouTube channel still up. Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored.